Hey everyone, thank you for joining again. Really appreciate it. Today I'll be talking about new farmable unit, Baalzack. He's an S rank version of that, and he's a really bulky unit. I managed to wax awaken him and I've been using him, and I'm really impressed with him. So I want to just talk about him and also do a bulk test on a PB run to illustrate how bulky he is. Before I do go into that, though, I just want to mention that I did a discussion video with Prince David, and then in that video I talked generally about True Dragon Quest 4 event in general. He mentioned that Baalzack is amazing, and he wasn't wrong. I'm also very impressed after max awakening him. So if you want to know more about what we discussed with Prince, please do check out the video. I'll leave the link in the comments below. But the first part, I will be talking about Baalzack, his skills and the kit, and then I've done a PV run on one of the extra stages to just kind of show you how bulky Baalzack is. Okay, so let me talk about the skill set of Baalzack. So Baalzack is has many kind of good abilities, but firstly he's at pure bulk, and he's very good at that. Has a high HP 1277. Defense is also high, but not only that, he starts the game with a defense up buff, so it's even higher than that. And then also when he's attacked, he gets extra defense buff, so very quickly he can accumulate his defense to be 3 stacks very easily. On top of that, he's also has a 50% damage mitigation with his skill, adding to his bulk for general attack and not just the physical. So that's a really tremendous bulk. But what really differentiates Baalzack from other defense or like bulk unit is that he has so much healing. So he has 10% of max HP when attacked, and also when attacking, and also action start of 15%, which is really absurd. You have to have a very high DPS down unit to be able to kill Baalzack. And on top of the point number one, these really synergizes very well, and that's what makes him so differentiated from the rest of the bulk unit, in my opinion. Now, enough of that bulk kind of talks, but also in terms of damage, he's actually not bad as a damage dealer, and I'll talk more about the damage as well. But also on top of the damage, he has a 20% chance to stun, and this AoE one, which is very wide range, is a sure hit, which is really also good for a martial. He also has a single target range 1 to spot 3 option. It's a lot weaker, but it has a higher chance of stun. So if you want to stun like Soden or Desagora, this is a good skills to have as well. Now, I talked about why he's so good and why he's so different to other bulk unit. So I try to compare him with the next kind of bulk kind of specialist, I would say, Klaboon. I'm sure a lot of people must have forgotten about Klaboon. He was kind of the least kind of thought about unit in the Incarni banner. But actually, so why is Baalzack comparing to him? Why is Baalzack being talked about a lot more than Klaboon? So let me just I try to do the kind of quick comparison on the bulk and a few other abilities. So Baalzack on the start is actually has a lot less HP than the Klaboon. So Klaboon's like really bulky in his stats point of view. But bear in mind that Baalzack gets a defense buff beginning and also when attacked. So after buffs he has a much higher defense. So he's a kind of he's more tankier against physical attacks, but in general attacks, Klaboon wins in HP. Also, in terms of mitigation, he has, as I said, Baalzack has 50% of mitigation, but Klaboon has 90%. So again, Klaboon wins here. So why are we still talking about Baalzack? Now, this is actually, in my opinion, is the next two kind of attributes that really differentiate Baalzack from the rest of the defense. As I said, firstly that he's very good at he's good DPS. I'll talk about damage next. He has a lot wider range as well, and also comes with the stun. Klaboon only has a weaker damage and also is bang blocked. So although it has a pull effect, so it's not like for like, but damage wise, simple damage wise, Klaboon is inferior. And then in terms of heals, so as I said, basically Baalzack just keeps healing, and Klaboon has none, and I think that's a real short side of aiming, because he should really had at least one way to auto heal. That would have made Klaboon a more more kind of usable in an actual meta, I think, and because he didn't have that healing and Baalzack did, Baalzack gonna see a lot more use in the meta. In terms of availability, obvious one is that for a lot of us, it's a lot easier to farm Baalzack to max awakening, whereas Klaboon was only gacha. I only got him to 2 awakening, so I haven't really used him. So that's obviously a kind of advantage. So let's talk about damage. I tried to find a comparative damage. So and I looked at Dormegas. So Dormegas and the Baalzack does about the same damage, roughly speaking. And and of course, Baalzack is a lot much wider, and that might not impress you in terms of damage, but it's not nothing, right? But that's before the buffs. But now let's speak about when he gets his buff. Now, remembering this is a short hit, it does a comparative damage to Omega after 2 steps, 2 stops above. So which is only available after 3 awakening. So you can see how impressive he is in terms of damage. He does Omega level damage. And as a comparison, I put a Zoma's kind of turn 1 damage. As you can see, okay, it's obviously not quite Zoma's level, but it's quite close, right? And then, especially given that he's bulky and he's very difficult to take out, it's a real annoyance for the opponent. Let's talk about the strength and weaknesses. So his strength, as I said, is bulk, auto heal, and is crazy. Good AoE. So I will talk all about this, right? And perhaps I mentioned also that he's a good chance to stun Zen and Medessa as well. So he's a good counter for them as well in that way. So let's look at the weaknesses that we haven't spoke about. So he has a low agility, which is less of a problem because he has a short hit attack, but he does his first skill doesn't have a short hit, so he can miss. So when you're trying to stun Zen or Medessa with the first skill, be mindful of that. He's also weak to paralysis, which is one of the bad weaknesses to have. Obviously not as bad as sleep or confused, but still kind of a significant one to consider. After turn 3, his moves drops to 2, so that's a real kind of annoyance, especially with his ability being that he needs to be at the right at the center to be able to do damage effectively. And this might be because he does take so little that physical damage that maybe this is just comparative reasons that it felt so. But using him, I felt that he takes quite a bit of martial and breath damage, and of course, sorry, I missed it here, but spell damage as well compared to physical. But to be honest, I think only one that units that you need to kind of really be careful within that is Jamirus, and possibly some others I haven't thought about. But yeah, just be mindful that he's a really good bulk, especially for a physical, but he's less so when it comes to like breath and spell and martial. So just be mindful of that. And in order to do the kind of bulk test, what I did was I picked All Out Battle Nimzo EX Saro. So I picked three-man team: Jessica, Baalzack, and Young Terry. And Jessica and Young Terry have no gears on, so these can probably just to illustrate. My one's a max awakening on the Jessica, but they can be one awakening and with the gears. Fully awakened on fully maxed on skills. Baalzack, I've only done it to +8. But he's got like agility and HP gear. Young Terry, no gear. So let's look at them in action in actual PvE stage to really show you that how good Baalzack tanks. So this is the layout I've decided to go with. And the idea here is that Baalzack, storms forward. Terry does the buffs on Jessica. And it keeps the kind of gets that multi-masher ready on the turn 5 and kill Saro in one shot. And question is, can Baalzack tank it all by himself? So Baalzack moves forward, and he does his bulk up with the 50% mitigation. Jessica just does her tension up. So in this stage, Sarah does a lot of attacks. Firstly, zap paralysis attack. So Baalzack gets paralyzed, but it's no problem. As you can see, every time he gets attacked, he's healing himself, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, once before, a long time ago, this stage was really one of the hardest one on a Nimizo Oda battle, actually. But, you know, it's amazing how we can now clear it with 3 units, really. Yeah, so this turn, Baalzack is paralyzed, so he loses that 50% mitigation, but it's fine. As you'll see, he will manage to bulk it through, even without the 50%. Especially after the full defense, 3 stops defense kicking in. Yeah, as you can see, Baalzack's just healing so much HP every attack, and that's not limited to physical. So it can be any attack he still heals. Yeah, this is nuts, isn't it? No, I probably didn't need to, but I've went for a damage reduction and heal, just to keep it going, really, so that he's extra bulkier in terms of damage reduction. So he gets a turn and does the bulk up again. Jessica just tensions up again. So yeah, I hope you get the gist of it. So I will fast forward the video a little bit to the last turn. Okay, so we're on the final turn where Jessica is fully maxed up on the Show No Mercy buff. Bulk that doesn't need to do damage, but just wanted to illustrate his damage. As I said, he hasn't got his 50% buff, and he's only +8. So yeah, but it does 947, which is pretty good. And Jessica comes in with a multi-masher to finish off Zara. Now, once upon a time, this was really hard stage to kill, but we can now kill it with Baalzack and 2 gacha units, which is pretty amazing, right? So yeah, hopefully it was kind of fun to illustrate how tanky the Baalzack is. So that brings me to the conclusion. Baalzack Samurai, he's a great tank, amazing for free, decent damage, and with a chance to stun. So if you are thinking about Max Awakening, definitely do. I would strongly recommend you do. If you need further help with anything, please do let me know. If you wanted to see more of Baalzack in RTA, how I use him, or if you are struggling with the Baalzack EX farm, I can do a farm guide. I managed to clear it and mostly auto saving the skip tickets. So if you want to know anything like that, please let me know in the comments. I want to make a video that's useful for the community. So your input is always helpful. Will be helpful for my future videos. So thanks again, and please do like and subscribe if you found any of this useful or you liked any of the past content. And look forward to seeing you in another video. Thank you.